So, a researcher wanted to see if there was an association between the number of hours spent watching TV and the student's grade point average. And, it's not a comment on any particular activity, but let's be, clear. If you're spending a lot of time or more time doing one thing, it kind of distracts from perhaps doing homework or studying or other things. So, he found a correlation coefficient R, an R value of negative 0.72. So, we know that it means that as one of the variables is increasing, the other is decreasing. And the order that he listed the variables in was here watching television in hours and GPA, grade point average. So no, we have no idea, what the data was at all. We don't know the slope of the line. We don't know the y-intercept of the line. But one thing we do know is that as the number of hours of watching television increased, right, as this variable was going up, the other variable, the GPA, was decreasing. So we know that it had to have a negative slope, right? And we don't have any idea if it was a really steep slope or a very shallow slope, no idea at all. But we just know that as one was increasing, the other was decreasing. In fact, we can summarize that by saying the researcher found a moderate association. Anything I'm in the 70s, 70%, positive or negative, I would say it's a moderate association. I would say 90% strong, um, and 80% somewhere else in there. These are just kind of me talking. You can look up other opinions on what constitutes a strong association versus a moderate association. But the point was that the data points are not clustering around that line very tightly. So there's this loose association between these, or moderate association rather, between these two variables, and between the more TV watched and lower GPA. So as TV increased, we know GPA was slower for his research. The other thing that we know is this thing called the coefficient of determination. Like if we take our R value and we square it, so if I take 0.72 and that's negative, and I raise that to the second power, I get the value of 0.5184. So, with that we can say, approximately 50% or about 52%. I'm just turning that number into a percent. About 52% of this association can be attributed to the association, right? About 52% of what we're observing here can be attributed to the association between TV watching and GPA. But if 52% can be attributed to that association, that means clearly 48% is attributed to something else. So it's not just that one variable, but that one variable seems to have, a significant chunk of I don't want to say responsibility, but it's definitely at play with this association.